Okay, moving on to another sequel, and it's one of those that sort of, I mean, they've done quite a few sequels to the original Predator, 1987, Arnold Schwarzenegger and the gang, you know, a classic sci-fi 80s actioner. I think one of the best. One of the ones you can still watch and it hasn't dated that much. You think that still looks great. Could have gone a totally different way where it looked awful. But no, they got it right. It's a great film. But they've had a lot of sequels over the year. You've had the mashup with Aliens as well, Alien versus Predator, etc. They've tried a few times to, I mean, some of them were okay. Some of the films are, I mean, Predator 2 had a bit of a renaissance after this came out, and everyone was like, Predator 2 is goat, man. It's not. It is not. It's awful. And it was awful when it came out. We remember, you know, when it came out, and it was like, oh, compared to the original movie, this really sucks. Yes, you can watch back and say, you know, there's moments of it that's like good laugh. But anyway, Prey came out this year, 2022, and it's almost like a prequel in a sense because they go back to the, I think, you know, either late 1700s, early 1800s, and we're in America. So it's not the America we know. They haven't quite, you know, completely eviscerated all of the natives and made the country we know today. There's still a native element to there. So, you know, think Revenant, people like there is Europeans over there, trappers and stuff like that, but there's still a lot of tribes, still a lot of Native Americans, and it's told through their eyes, particularly a young girl in the tribe. And basically, you know the rest. It's a Predator film. There's a Predator come to Earth, but it's a Predator from a couple of 100 years before the one we know from the original film. And they do a really good job there's a couple of tributes in there to all of the Predator films over the years that make you go, I like that. For example, the classic line, if it bleeds, we can kill it.
It bleeds, we can kill it.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was like a great addition to the Predator catalogue. I'd advise it to anyone, especially if you were a fan of that original Predator film or the series as a whole, then it's got to be held up as, that's worth an hour and a half of anyone's time. Great fun. Advise it.
Yeah, it's one, I remember after you mentioned it and said, oh, it's a really great film, and I was, oh, what's it about? And then you had said, oh, it was a Predator prequel, and I didn't even realise. I think that's the thing that's thrown it because of the title.
Yeah, they kept the font in a sense, even though it was a little bit more, you know, old-fashioned, but it's Prey now rather than Predator. They've just turned it on its head and said, it's Prey. But I didn't realise at first, you know, when I first just seen the word Prey and seen there was like, you know, a couple of the stars, the youngsters in it are like Native Americans. And I thought, well, what's that? Is like a Western or something, some kind of, you know, Last of the Mohicans, things like that. But then realised it's a Predator prequel. Really
it's
cool.
Really interesting kind of concept, isn't it? I think I do want to check it out because it sounds really interesting, and you say you were recommending it, and I mean, I love the original Predator.
Oh yeah, that's why I enjoyed this one, because I'm a fan of the original, and it's a good story. It's a story about characters. The main star of it is a girl called Amber Midthunder, and she's just great in it. She's perfect casting. It's like, she's that perfect, you know, really young and full of bravado, but, you know, like Luke Skywalker, not quite ready for the trials you're about to go through yet. So there's a sort of learning curve throughout it. And there's that whole side of it, you know, the Native Americans, and they were great warriors, and it's really cool. There's some cool stuff in there. There's some great Easter eggs for the other films, and I can see why Predator 2 became had a bit of a renaissance afterwards, because a lot of the kids probably watching it for the first time were like, oh, what are they saying about this certain Easter egg? We've got to go and now see what that's about.
Go and hunt it out.
And it worked. It worked like that. So,
but it sounds interesting. It's just, you know, that, you know, saying it's on par or, you know, close to like the original, you know, rather than the rest, because I always felt like, you know, after the original, all the sequels and the AVP and all that I'd never really enjoyed any of them. You know, it got,
I like the one
away
with,
from itself.
You know, Adrian Brody was in one a few years ago. I think it was called Predators. It was like plural. It wasn't bad, that one. I think they're all on some island or something like this. It's a bit more like, what's that Japanese film, you know, that kind of...
battle
royale scenario, or
Yeah.
fucking hell, Hunger Games, something like that, where it's like, but that was quite cool. But this one's definitely my favorite of all the sequels or prequels or whatever. The Predator's a bit different as well. He's a little bit like old, well, not old fashioned, but he's got more sort of organic. You know, where he always had the metal helmet and stuff like that. Well, this time it's more like a skull. You know, like a warrior might wear some sort of crazy animal skull of a kill that they've. So there's that kind of thing about it that you know, it's kind of good. I enjoyed it anyway. I'd watch it again. Put it that way. I'd watch it again and go back for more.
Interesting. Recommended.
Yeah, that's a thumbs up for that one for sure.